I want you to break down AJ, Devontae, and Quez in terms of what their best attributes are.
Where do I begin?
Correct. Speaking of talent, I mean, we have just upgraded the talent level of the show in a monstrous way. Look
And
at that
rightfully
handsome
so.
devil.
Look at
Look
him.
at that.
He
Mike
sits there
Quick.
so stoic. Look at him.
Stop being so nice.
Look,
That's
he's
just the way
sitting
you
there-
wrote it, Mike. I just read it off the script you gave me, okay?
He's sitting there like this, all proper and upright. You know, that's what I like about
What do you want
he's
him
like,
to be doing?
He's like, I mean, he should be slashed over like, yeah, man, what do you guys want, man? Why you guys bother me on my day off, man?
He's studious. He's got the glasses on. Okay.
This is really not my day off. This is actually the day on. I have granddaddy duties today.
Oh,
boy. Diaper duty. Mike, are we in diapers or are we out of diapers yet? Where are we with the grands?
Diaper.
Yeah? Okay.
Fortunately, she's getting her nap right now, so we're good.
All right.
Hey, Mike, join the club. I have granddaddy duty every day.
Yeah.
It's you know, I get to pick up one from preschool every day.
Yeah.
And then my other ones comes over. Now I have two smaller ones that are in diapers. So I always thought, Mike, did you ever think, and I enjoyed it immensely, don't get me wrong, but did you ever think, my wife and I sit there and we chuckle because we said, we thought our lives were supposed to be easier as we got older. Now our lives are more structured than ever because it entails, kids call, hey, can you watch Cruise for us?
Yeah.
We wanted a night out.
Yeah.
Can you watch Ariana and Elijah for us? Because I just need a break. And I'm thinking, I need a break.
Well, Mike, we'll be nice and quiet so we don't wake anybody up, okay, while we talk to you. I got to hit you with this, though. And I know we're only 3 weeks in, but right now you have A.J. Brown on target for over 1,700 yards, Devontae 14, and Goddard 952. We're a long way off for the end of the season, but, I mean, this is pretty amazing what they have in terms of firepower offensively.
It is. I'll give you another nugget. This team leads the league in yards per catch.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, they're the best defense in terms of yards per reception as well. I don't know how long you can keep either of these things up, but right now we have to enjoy what's going on. Both these teams are playing great both sides of the ball, they're playing great football. Denard Wilson, I think the defensive backs coach, has done an outstanding job with these guys, technique-wise, as well as putting the game plan together. He's also the defensive passing game coordinator. So in terms of what they're doing now on the back end of their defense, there's a lot of talent there to work with, of course, but Denard Wilson and the job that he's doing, I think he needs to be commended for the job.
Good point. We don't talk about him at all. You're right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, I want to put this right in your wheelhouse, you being the accomplished receiver that you were. I want you to break down AJ, Devontae, and Quez in terms of what their best attributes are.
Where do I begin? So I'll start with Devontae because I think he can do so many things. When he catches the ball, it's crazy how sleek he is at making people miss. But the art of what he does before the ball is there is what really has me googly over him. I think his release, the way he's able to get off of press coverage, his ability to understand defenses and separate, understanding leverage. The guy is just fun for me to watch. I love watching him play. He's such a technician, the way he goes about his work. And he's fun to watch. The big guy, golly, he's the closest thing really to T.O. that I've seen since T.O. T.O. was probably a little bit faster, but on that slant route against Washington, he's got this big body and he knows that he can put that body in front of you and you got to try and fight through him and you're not going to get through him. He's fast. When he catches the ball, we haven't even seen how much he can do when he catches the ball. And we're going to see a lot of that throughout the course of the season. But he's such a physical runner with the ball in his hands. You can't press cover him because he's too strong. He'll knock you out of the way. It's just they're just fun. And then Quez, he's a jet. He 0 to 60 as fast as anybody in the league, I believe. And so he worries teams because he has that ability to stretch the field. Not only he can run all the routes, but that ability to get beyond people is scary. And so you always have to account for that. I love the trio of receivers that they have. And then there are more guys. You talk about those three, but then there are many other guys that I think will keep defensive coordinators up at night trying to figure out what to do with them.
Mike, if you had to put your thumb on one thing, one area that has blown you away with the improvement of Jalen Hurts from what we saw the last couple of years, what would you say that one area is specifically? I mean, the numbers are incredible. The play has been incredible. Is there one thing that stands out to you?
Yeah. He understands better. His experience now has taken him to another level because he can process things faster now. He can get the ball out with quicker now, with more accuracy now. So when people were talking about, I don't think his arm strength is da-da-da-da-da, it's just because they didn't really understand that he wasn't to the point where he could process everything so that he understands and get the ball out with the timing that he needed to. So he was coming late with throwing the ball, and it looks like the arm strength is not there because guys are able to close on throws. This is the NFL. And if you're late, the talent is so good that they're going to make you pay. And because he understands things better because of his experience, he's just playing a whole lot better. That to me is bigger than anything else that's going on.
Hey, Mike, through 3 games, people are already talking about Jalen as a franchise quarterback, paid a man. Are you there yet? Are you willing to say the word franchise, or do you need to see a bigger sample size before you get to that point?
I think he'll end up proving to be that type of player in this league, and I think that's because of the skills that he brings to the position. Number one, and the dedication that he has to the position. The guy really wants to be a great player. And he's not one who's just going to say that I want to be a great player. He puts in the time. I remember having a conversation with Marty Morningwig last year about him. And Marty was telling me about all the time that he puts in, all the questions. Like when he first started, didn't ask a lot of questions. But as he started to learn things, he had a whole lot of questions about how things were done. And he would spend this inordinate amount of time sitting, watching film, and just trying to understand, learn more and more so that he could be what we're watching right now. And I think it's going to continue.
Hey, Mike, let's go to the other side of the ball. As far the 9 sacks, obviously that's not going to happen every single week, but was it just a matter of time before these guys and I'm talking defensive line, really started to make that impact, or was that a reflection of Carson and a sketchy offensive line for Washington?
Well, I think it's all of the above. I think that with the offensive line that Washington has, and they were having all of their problems, when they lost Chase Roulier the week before, their starting center, it really hurts their offensive line. He's the guy up front that makes all the calls. He's the guy that directs all the traffic up front for them. And when you have to slide over Wet Schweitzer from the right guard spot, he's not really center. He's played center. He started 2 games last year at the center spot. But that's really not where you want him. You want him to play guard. You want your main guy that handles the traffic in there. And that's really where it started for them, their offensive line problems. Then during the course of the game, the right tackle, he was in and out of the lineup. So when you're not 100% against a defensive line like the Eagles that is really starting to come on, you have problems. And the fact that you have a quarterback in Carson Wentz that he wants to hold the ball a little bit longer. He wants to make the big play. Sometimes he's going to be Superman and make big plays, and then sometimes he's going to try and be Superman, and he's going to cost the team. I think all of that had to do with the 9 sacks.
Hey, Mike, from your perspective, what has been the biggest difference the last 2 games in the way Jonathan Gannon has deployed his defense compared to that first game against Detroit?
I think that was a filling out process, and I think that guys, see, so this is the second year for this coaching staff together with this football team, and I think that makes such a difference in the fact that they know guys a whole lot better. They understand what they're going to get out of guys. I just think on both sides of the ball, I think it's better. And with JG, the first game, yeah, it's a filling out process. Fortunately, they won the game. Didn't play their best football, but they were able to win the game. I think now going into each and every game, that coaching staff will have a better feel for what they can do, and a lot more confidence in what they can do going against guys. You know, when you bring in a guy like Gardner Johnson, and he's only been on the roster for 10 days before he plays in his first game, you're kind of limited in what you want guys to do. Because the worst thing you can have is guys on your back end get out of position and give up big plays. They're not giving up big plays, and I think that has some to do with how conservative they were in that first game. But now you're starting to get a better feel for what you have on the back end, a little more confidence in these guys and what you can ask them to do. And as the season goes on, I think we'll see even more stuff that they'll do on the back end.
Mike, a guy I think is the most probably underrated player on either side of the ball is TJ Edwards. And it seems like every week he shows out, man. He's either blowing somebody up, he's in pass coverage, run defense. I love the guy, and I don't think he gets enough love, man. I don't even know if I have a question, but what's your take on what we're seeing from him this year?
Yeah, I'm really enjoying his play. You know, a guy that comes in undrafted out of Wisconsin, just used to hunting for every bone that he gets. I love stories like TJ Edwards, and he's playing great football. Now, may not be the best athlete at the position, but he's as smart as anyone that's playing the position, and he's instinctive. So he's making a whole lot of plays because he doesn't take false steps. He understands offenses, and he's able to dissect what they're trying to do and not waste motions, just get to the football. I love TJ Edwards.
Mike, are you surprised that Nakobe Dean can't even get on the field? Second straight game, he gets no defensive snaps, but he played 20 special team snaps. Even situational, when you like to rotate guys in and out to give guys a breather. You surprised he hasn't been able to find a niche yet?
No. Am I surprised that Cam Jurgens, we saw him play in the preseason. Cam Jurgens could start for most teams in the NFL. That's where this team is. They have depth. They have guys that aren't getting snaps that could start on other teams in the NFL. That's the roster that Howie Roseman has built. That's just where we are. I'd love to see Nakobe Dean, but when you got Kazir White playing the way he's playing, and we just talked about TJ Edwards, you're limited in the amount of people you can put on the field, D-Gun.
I know.
I would love to see Nakobe Dean, and I think his time is going to come. I think we're going to get a whole lot more snaps out of Jordan Davis as time progresses. But when the guys that you're starting the game with, they're playing the way these guys are playing, they're getting the results that these guys are getting, how can you then take TJ Edwards off the field for Nakobe Dean? You can't do it.
And Mike, you saying that just kind of makes me think it wasn't all that long ago when this team had 4 wins. Carson was still here. It was still Doug. And you looked at a roster that in some ways at the receiver spot was getting old, and you're saying to yourself, this is going to be a long rebuild, man. But this thing was done on the fly at a furious pace. Now they look like they're loaded with talent. They still have 2 first-rounders in their back pocket for next year as well. Yeah. It's been a pretty remarkable, flip here for this team.
Yeah, the last 2 years, I think the personnel department, and you have to give Howie a lot of credit for what he's done with this roster. If you look at the construction of this roster, there are a lot of guys on this roster that you want to see more of, but we're not seeing it. I really think Zach McPherson is going to end up being a really good football player. The kid that went undrafted out of Alabama, Josh Jobe. Josh Jobe's got crazy skills that nobody's even talking about. And he's playing some special team snaps, but he's not getting a lot of play. That's just where this team is. And I'm just enjoying it. We have to take this ride and enjoy this ride while it is where it is, because the NFL season, and it ebbs and flows. And while it's good, you got to appreciate the good that you're seeing.
Hey, Mike, so many people talk about how Jonathan Gannon is this potential head coach of the future, but I'll take it a step farther. The way Shane Steichen has called games this year, I think he's going to be a hot commodity for head coaching position at the conclusion of the season. You agree or disagree with that?
D-Gun, if this team continues on the pace that they're on, Howie's big thing this offseason is going to be finding coaches, finding talent for the coaching staff, because this team could lose a lot of coaches. That's really what's happening. Brian Johnson, everyone talks about, what's happening with Jalen and the growth of Jalen Hurts. Well, Brian Johnson, the quarterback's coach, has some to do with that. And there are a lot of guys on this staff that are young guys that people don't know a whole lot about, but they're really talented. And if John Gannon gets a job, some of these guys will end up going with him. So, if this team, that's just the nature of the NFL. And if this team continues to progress at the pace that they're on, yeah, you're going to lose people. That's what happens.
Mike, I got to ask you, just to go back to last week for a minute here with Wentz. I mean, look, he doesn't have a good offensive line, as we talked about, and you pointed out very astutely some of the issues they have. But we see the same problems that he had here, the same problems he had in Indy. He doesn't look like a guy who's improving. What's your sense of where things are with Wentz?
Yeah, he's a puzzle. What's crazy? I'm watching him warm up. I was down on the field before the game watching him warm up, and I'm looking at him like, wow, this big old dude with that rifle arm, because he was rifling the ball out to his receivers in the warm-up stuff. And it's kind of scary when you're the opponent or the guy on the other side, when you're watching him throw the ball, when you're watching him just get ready for the game. Game starts, and he just reverts to a lot of the stuff that we saw when he was in Philadelphia, that just not getting it done. He's really a puzzle to me.
Hey, Mike, I know you are close with the coach who will make his grand entrance into Lincoln Financial Field this Sunday in Doug Pederson. I thought it would be another year before Pederson would get his guys down there where they could be in terms of being a contender. But you look at what he has done. Number one, his defense is playing lights out. Their last two wins over the Colts and the Chargers, a Colts team that just basically shocked the world and upset the Chiefs. Their defense is giving up only 10 points down there. It looks like Trevor Lawrence is playing at a whole different level with, Mike McCoy, the quarterback coach, and your guy, Press Taylor, as the offensive coordinator down there. Give me your thoughts on Doug Pederson as a man who's able to be somewhat of a quarterback whisperer and to bring out the best in young quarterbacks. Yeah,
well, Trevor Lawrence had the wrong head coach when he started the NFL, without question. What happened to that guy anyway?
He's stealing money at Fox right now.
In the witness protection program.
Yeah.
He's very fortunate, Trevor Lawrence is, that Doug Pederson is now their head coach, because you can start to see who he really is as a quarterback. He's really, really a special player.
Yeah.
From the pocket, he can beat you. He can get outside of the pocket and really make magic happen outside the pocket. Another big, strong kid. He reminds me of that Sunshine from that movie. What's that?
Yeah. Remember the Titans.
Remember the Titans. So he reminds me of Sunshine. And he's got this rifle arm, and he's a tough kid. Doug Pederson is going to cause a lot of problems for a lot of teams this year. Hopefully it's not Sunday, because I like the feeling that we have in Philadelphia right now. I like to keep it going. But Doug's going to come in here trying to, with everything that he has, to try and win this game. And he's got some talented people to do it with as well.
And that's a doable division now, Mike. I mean, Tennessee's taking some steps back. I don't know what's going on with Indy. Like, that's Houston. They're gonna hang around. I guarantee you that.
If Doug continues on this pace, he'll be coach of the year. His defensive coordinator, Mike Caldwell. Well, Mike played here for 4 years. Right. He was under Jim Johnson. Mike is a really bright guy, and he's worked with Todd Bowles for several years. He's been the understudy for Todd Bowles. Now he gets his opportunity to run the defense himself. And I can see Jim Johnson. I can see Todd Bowles. When I watch that defense, I can see a little bit of everything. And he's one of these guys who's just real stoic on the sideline. You don't see much emotions out of him at all. But he's constantly plotting. He's constantly going through his Rolodex of information, of attack plans for the other side. And that's one of the main reasons why. Well, you got to have the horses, but one of the main reasons why that defense is playing so well, Mike Caldwell's running that defense, and he has been around long enough to understand how to break down your protection and how to take away your main weapons on your offense.
It's a great point. All right, Mike, last one. I got to get this off my chest because it drives me nuts. I hear people getting on Nick Sirianni for the T-shirts, for the hat. He is being authentic. His players know it's authentic. When he talks about the plants and the flowers last year, they bought in because they believe in him. But I hear this notion from he's pandering. The guy, first of all, he's having fun, and it's sports. You're supposed to have fun, number one. Number two, he's being himself. And, of course, he's rocking a Mike Quick jersey, which you can never go wrong there, by the way.
There you go.
I hear this, and it drives me crazy. What do you want? Some angry, disconnected Ben Simmons type?
Bill Belichick type?
Yeah. Is that what you want? I don't understand it.
So I think it's really cool. I mean, not my jersey, but the fact that he wears all these T-shirts, he wears like throwback stuff. He wears things that's connected to Philadelphia and the fans can certainly relate to, because all of our fans wear all of these things. You go into the stadium and you see jerseys of all sorts of players. What's wrong with it? I don't know. Like you said, it's a game. It's great entertainment. It's a wonderful game. And he's a guy who grew up loving the game. He's a guy who grew up as a fan of mine. So why not rock the jersey? I loved it.
Did he get it off you, Mike? Is that what happened? Was that the story?
He did. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You never gave me one.
Well, you didn't ask me, and you weren't the head coach of the Eagles.
That's all right, but we have a longer relationship than you and Sirianni.
You don't need any swag. Come on.
You never once asked for a jersey.
That's besides the point, Mike.
Okay, good.
Hey, quick question for you before we go. With all the great glowing accolades we've given this team, and rightfully so, the one thing that sticks in my craw is the special teams play is subpar. What are we going to do with the special teams play? I'm watching Covey back there. He gets nobody blocking for him. Everybody's watching, and he's got to learn to get down because he's going to have chest contusions before his young career is over. The return game of the kickoff is non-existent. What do we do with this?
Yeah, that's the real puzzle for this team right now, because the other, you got to have all three elements working. Yeah. Right now, they're able to survive with a subpar special teams unit. And it doesn't matter which of kickoff return, punt return, none of them are giving you much of anything. So that is the subpar performing third of this football team, and they have to somehow correct that. I love, like, Britt Covey, it's a great story, but if you're not going to give him some kind of blocking, if he's not going to be able to return the ball, then you have to figure out who's going to be your guy. Right now, I don't know if they have the guy. I really didn't like seeing Devontae back catching punts. I just think the value there is too much to risk something happening to him. But when I'm king, I'll make the rules.
There you go.
All right, Mike. Well, listen, we're looking forward to it on Sunday, man. Yourself and Merrill, 1:00. We love the 1:00s, by the way. And you'll actually be in a booth where you're not like 7 counties over. Exactly. And you can actually see what's going on in the game. Exactly. You got to be excited by that, huh?
Yeah, but you know what? We had so much fun in Washington. I just forgot that we were in that horrible box.
Isn't that thing a dump? That whole stadium, isn't it a dump?
It is, yeah. But, as long as they have the ownership that they have, they're going to always have issues.
Yep, I agree.
Well said. All right, Mike, back to grandfather issues here. But pop up, what do we call it? What is the what's pop? All right, back to pop duties. All right, Mike. Poppy duties. All right, Mike, we appreciate it, man. It's good catching up with you, and keep up the great work. on the Calls with Game with Merrill.
Be
Thank
good,
you.
man. Be good, brother.
All right, you got it. That is Mike Quick. Mike's the best, Derek. He is. He's a fun. He is laid. He's chill. He's laid back. He's chilled.
Demeanor never changes.
No, but man, he is right on with his analysis. It's amazing. All right, so we get a quickie here. We come back. We continue with the Eagles talk. So I dug into some rankings, Derek, which I think you'll enjoy. Team and individual for what the Eagles are doing thus far. So we'll do that when we get back. He's Derek Gunn. I'm Rob Ellis. Barrett on assignment today. He'll be back tomorrow. Let's smash the like button, folks. Let's keep it rolling. All right, we are Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. Let's talk Pro Action Restoration. Pro Action Restoration is the place that you call or reach out to online if you're having any kind of issues with water or fire or smoke or mold or whatever the case may be to a property that you own, a building, your house. They're on call 24 hours, 7 days a week. That's huge. Anytime you need them, late at night, on the weekends, they're there. I've gone through it on a Saturday. I had them right over there. They cleaned everything up. The crew was unbelievable, and the price was reasonable, and we were really in a jam. They are licensed, bonded, fully insured. They've been serving the tri-state area for more than 2 decades, so the reputation is there. Just go online and check it out. Pro Action will work in conjunction with your insurance company, and again, it could be any of the above or more: water, fire, smoke, mold, something you're not really sure about. Just reach out for a consultation. They can handle it. Give them a call, 610-623-3760, 610-623-3760, or reach out online, proactionrestoration.com. That's proactionrestoration.com.